welcome to the premiere episode of American Crime Story, the Assassination of Gianni Versace pregame show. That is the longest pregame show title.
It's a lot.
That's quite a bit. I'm Tressaday, here with the Fifth Column Network, editor of FCN1, which is home of news, politics, and business, and host of Prime News. I am joined with Brent Barnett. He is... What is your Instagram? Wait.
At @soul_minister.
Joined by Brent Barnett. Say hello to everybody out there.
Hello, everybody. Versace.
Okay, so how long you been waiting to say that line?
I was practicing it on the way here.
Okay. That's not bad.
Not that long.
That's not bad at all. Yeah. All right, so if you don't know what a pregame show is pretty self-explanatory. While the rest of the world is doing post-show everything, we come on before the show and we want to talk about what happened in the episode before and give predictions of what we think is going to happen. Yes. But since this is the first episode of the new season, we're going to talk about the last season, which many people thought was
the GOAT.
It
was incredible.
It was The People versus O.J. Simpson. If you haven't watched it, where have you been? I don't know.
Under a rock.
Under a rock. But it was an amazing show. How many times have you seen it?
So I watched the whole thing on TV, and then I watched it again on Netflix. So that's 2.
I've seen it 6 times.
It's okay.
From beginning to end.
This is a safe place.
Is it?
It's safe. You can say that.
I loved it.
6 times.
I had a certain 6-year-old watch it with me.
What did they have to say about it?
He was like, we about to watch DJ Simpson. I'd be like, wait, what? Ficky. And he would always wait to see Robert Shapiro because he'd be like, that's the villain. That's the villain, yeah.
Why? Because it's John Travolta?
I don't know. But that was the villain
he
for
wasn't
him.
The villain?
I thought he was the villain.
I mean, a little bit, but he was trying to help OJ.
Was he, or was he trying to
I
help
don't
himself?
know. We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
I think to a great degree, and you can speak to this a little bit, a lawyer is always trying to help themselves to a great degree.
No comment.
Wait, this is going to be no fun if I can't pull on your past legal history. Plead the fifth.
Former lawyer here. I'll make no comment. Most of the time, I guess. Well, they're looking out for their reputation.
It's a continuum. You know what I'm saying? You're serving a client, and maybe in this particular case, and I'm not a lawyer, but in this particular case, it's, 60-40. 60 them, 40 you. Then maybe you don't really like this person, but you're going to do it anyway, and then it's 90-10. You know what I'm saying?
Yikes.
So,
that's terrible still.
I don't know. I've seen Philadelphia a couple times.
Okay, all right. Did you just quote a movie from...
Hey, Philadelphia is a good one.
Lord have mercy.
It's a good one.
All right, so I know there's people out there who definitely watched People vs. O.J. Simpson. I did a poll on Facebook. People were talking about how great it was. I ain't gonna lie. When I saw what the second season was going to be about, I was like, Gianni Versace?
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Not because of Gianni Versace, but because I had heard that the second season was going to be about Hurricane Katrina.
Yes. That's
so
exactly
I was
what
more
they
interested in
announced.
watching that story than I am in this, because I kind of feel like we've talked about the rich, victim or the rich perpetrator in whatever case, and we've also talked about the effect of the media on a case and how all of these things. Now this never went to trial, but how all of these things play out.
Right.
So I just feel like we tread down that water already, and there's so many stories in Hurricane Katrina that would have been more interesting to me.
That's a good point. They pushed it to season 3.
Okay.
So it's
I'm
still
cool
coming.
with that.
But I too was looking for that because they did all those articles and announcements that they were going to do Katrina, and then I'm like, Gianni Versace. I just like saying Versace.
I like how you say that. And man, Deacon Versace is here. And man, wave your hand so everyone know who you are. That's that like real short little deacon that dressed real nice.
He's so stupid.
That's who he is, Deacon Versace.
I hate you so much.
But you got a picture of who I'm talking
Yes,
about, though.
I do.
You did.
I do. All right, so I want to talk about the first season.
Yes.
I want to pull out some of the things that we thought were great, some of the things we probably didn't like so much that could have been different, and then definitely talk about what we expect from season 2, if it will compare. So I pulled out 10 things from the entire season of O.J. Simpson, and we're going to go. There are no particular order, so I don't want nobody coming in the comments like, why you mention that first? And it's kind of in the order in which these concepts appear in the season.
Sure.
All right? So let's look at the first one. The first one, we're going to roll that graphic image, the casting.
Yes. What
did you think about the casting in the first season?
Spot on, except for...
Let me guess.
Cuba Gooding Jr. And it's not that I don't think he's a great actor. I do think he's a great actor. But he's so small.
Yes.
And it's one thing, on stage to have a actor with a lot of presence who's not very big physically. Yeah. Right? Because they can project that in a different way. And plus, on stage, you really can't tell how big somebody is. Right. But when it's camera, and they're not necessarily making an effort to make him appear larger. Right? He's a small guy. And so OJ is not a small person. Right. So that was the only problem, just in optics. Okay. Everybody else, I think they got pretty good.
I agree with that. OJ is big, tall. He had a different voice. And I felt like, that's a very integral part of who OJ is. Mm-hmm. And it was an integral part in telling a story of abuse, if that makes sense. Sure. And even the story of admiration. This is a football player that many, many men loved, particularly the police, because you could see they talked about how the admiration kind of screwed up the initial investigation. And I'm like, you couldn't have found anybody else. But the only thing that kind of made it okay was the fact that OJ wasn't really a leading character in this series. No. Because
you know him. And this is a case that has been talked about. Mm-hmm. Almost every person who was involved wrote a book. There's been so many TV movies. It's been touched on a lot. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to necessarily zero in on OJ as a character. Right. You can explore a lot of the other stories and storylines around him. And I think the one thing that Cuba did get right was that he did a good job of projecting this idea of being rich and black. Yes. And which is different and I'm black, but I'm not rich. Anyway. Yeah, anyway.
Well, name it, claim it.
Look, I mean, and I don't even, I don't do that. But anyway, I mean, I'm working towards that. But so, I think being black and rich in Atlanta might be different than being black and rich in LA.
Yes. Not might, is.
Right? Is black and rich in Brentwood as opposed to black and rich in, wherever else, Baldwin Hills. I'm just pulling out neighborhoods I've heard on television. I've never been to LA. It's still LA. I'm just saying I've never, never been there.
It's not Brentwood.
Right.
Buckhead, Atlanta.
Oh, so is that like the parallel?
Yes.
So Brentwood is Buckhead?
Yes, sir.
But Buckhead is super black.
No, you're thinking Bankhead. Bankhead.
But I know of some very wealthy black people who live in Buckhead.
That's the parallel.
Oh, well, okay. There you go.
Well, there we go.
There you go. You got it.
The more you know.
You got it. Who was your favorite character, though? Like, who was your favorite character?
Man. So.
Look, mine was John Travolta.
I just felt like that's an easy answer, so I wasn't going to say that.
Sleazy. He was narcissistic. He was whiny. He was just, it was so extra.
But here's the thing, right? It's like, you acting like didn't nobody die. You acting like OJ called you and said, hey, Rob, man, I done ran into the house. Yeah. I was drunk and I ran into the house and I need you to come. It's not the same.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not the same. That's true. I need you to act like people died.
That's funny. He didn't.
Robert Shapiro.
He was definitely 90% himself,
for
10%
sure.
Everybody else.
For
okay.
Sure.
Producers are saying, move it faster to number 2. Let's look at what number 2 is from People vs. O.J. Simpson. It is the Kardashian mentions all throughout the season. That was not one of my favorite moments.
If I could fall over on this couch, I would. And just, that was the worst.
It was the worst.
The absolute worst.
Oh, not in little Kimmy's room. Like, oh my
Kardashian. Kardashian.
Which did not happen. That got fact-checked by many sources that never happened. But yeah, they kept mentioning them and the mama, what's her name, Chris. They just kept mentioning it. And I understand why, like, at least a little bit. Like, you want to know this woman basically started building an empire from being involved in this. But
But that's not what this is about.
That's not what this is about at all.
It's not. And I also feel like the Robert Kardashian of the series and the Robert Kardashian of history are two different people. And that if it was not played by Schwimmer and played by somebody else, it could have been way less sympathetic. Because the entire time he's playing it like, oh, OJ. You know, like he's so shocked and he's so, I can't believe that this is happening. And, oh my gosh. Like, but that to me was not who I saw watching footage of the actual trial.
Yeah, I agree with that. Number 3, in the People versus O.J. Simpson, it's the black man to black man connection.
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran.
Ooh, he had that race card on deck, boy. Had that like this.
From beginning to end, you watch Johnny really understand, like very conscious of his blackness as a man, as he, relates to Darden from the beginning to the end. Even when Darden was working in that one special department, he's like, man, you working for the wrong side. You need to come on this side. Even trying to help Darden during the trial, like, yeah, I'm trying to win, but brother, you might want to stay away from Furman, or you might not want to do this. And
well, what struck me first was how he, and I don't know if this is true or not, how he rearranged OJ's house.
Yes.
And took the art from his office to OJ's house to make him appear more black before the jury came. That struck me. But then the other thing that struck me was to somebody like Johnny Cochran, who's a baby boomer, who came up through civil rights, who had experienced all those things. And I think it's from the South, too.
I wouldn't know.
Fact checking somebody. Google it.
Intern over there. Fact check that.
The commenters will tell us. The commenters, they'll tell us. But someone who's got all that baggage. To be able to do something like this where you get a very visible black man off of a murder rap, to me, that's kind of a twisted justice a little bit. Like, this isn't just for OJ. Like, this is for Rodney King, this is for Dr. King, this is for Billy King, like all the Kings.
Yeah. I think the show showed that really well, too, that he was like, no, I'm doing this for an entire people. At the same time, I also thought the show did a good job of showing kind of a juxtaposed position with Darden, where he's like, this ain't going to change nothing. The police still going to keep killing us, and I wish you wouldn't have done this on behalf of OJ, a murderer. I thought the show did a real good job of balancing that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think the other black man to black man connection was him with OJ himself. Remember where he did that pep talk with him in jail to really just kind of get his head in the game, if you will. I loved that part. I loved Johnny's whole black maleness and the whole thing.
Have a comment?
Yeah.
One Ramon Javier Benitez says, why did Johnny do that? Wouldn't they want OJ to seem like he loved whites and Nicole and not seem like a black militant?
It's a good observation, whoever that is. I never heard that name before.
Me neither.
But I think that the reason why you would want to position OJ as a black man is because you need to win it in the court of public opinion. You need to win it in the black media. You need to win it in the black community. And you need to win it to black jurors. Yeah. Because you got to realize this is a man who, when he was just kind of famous, had a black wife. Right. Then when he got super rich and real famous, traded in, right? And there's elements of that, right? And that is not lost on black people, right? However, and we're not saying that every black man who marries a white woman is doing.
I was about to say, I knew that was coming.
Is doing it. He's ruined it. Okay.
Okay, well, let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is the trials and tribulations of Marsha Clark. Listen, I thought the show did a great job of showing what was going on in that woman's life.
We could have just done episodes of Marsha Clark, and it would have been epic.
That. I had no idea she was going through a divorce at the time.
Didn't know that either.
The show highlighted all the gender issues of being a working mom, right? You remember that scene where Johnny basically called her out, for having to take care of her kids. I couldn't even believe it. But
the whole image thing where she's cutting her hair and changing how she looks and her clothes.
Everything. What else? The nude photo. Didn't remember that. I don't remember that. But the nude photo leaking, just all of those things, just really showcased what was going on in her life.
There's a lot of this that I'm on the younger end of the millennial spectrum, so there's a lot. Don't do that. So there's a lot of this that I missed. Primarily, not because I wasn't paying attention, but primarily because, this was sold to me like OJ's innocent.
Right.
There's no way he could have done it.
Right.
Come on, it's the juice. That's how black people work.
Right.
That's
it's the man trying to catch him
See,
up.
the white man. You know what he did. This is every barbershop conversation that I'm having.
Everyone.
And I'm still on the booster at this point. You know what I'm saying? I was only 7 when this went down. So
is that accurate?
94, right?
95 is when that verdict came down.
5?
Yeah, 95.
The murder happened
96?
in June of 94, though.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I remember watching the chase with my parents.
Mommy? Why did Bronco moving so fast? Well, little friend.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
What you doing?
That's how I
He said, "Well, I wasn't sitting on his lap either, right?"
Oh my God!
Well, little Brit.
That's funny.
Why does this crazy black man have a gun to his head?
Oh my God!
That's horrible.
That's so bad.
That's horrible.
I'm bound by contract. I'm not allowed to tell my age on the shows, so
Okay.
I can't tell where I was when the verdict came down or anything like that. So
It's all
yeah,
good.
I was.
I'm sure that Ray will tell how old I am.
Number 5, the show did an amazing job of pulling together the racist history of the LAPD
Yes.
to give us real context of why they even brought race up in the first place in this trial.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I just knew that Johnny had played the race card, right? He brought it up. It wasn't until this series that I really felt like I had a full understanding of the timeline of events in relation to this. It made it every time now that I hear someone say, "Oh, Johnny played the race card," I know that is not accurate.
You can't play it if
at
it's
all.
not on the table.
You can't.
And so,
Such a preacher phrase.
Yeah, so I just think that understanding what is up under a case like this is key to really understanding the impact of it and why it played out the way it played out. I mean, and I think we never really even talk about the fact that and I don't necessarily call Asians people of color, but definitely, non-white persons. Had we not had a judge who was,
Right.
Asian or a person of color,
Right.
I think this would have been a much different
I
case.
agree 100%.
Yeah.
They did a great job. I'm glad that they had it in LA County.
Sure.
And had a bunch of people of color. This would have been completely different if it was tried in a different county.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Number 6. Darden and Marsha's relationship.
And these are things that you think are just rumors. I want to know how much of this was true though.
Lots of it. Like, these got fact checked.
So they was like really like
The Oakland
90-10.
The trip to Oakland was real. Fact checked. The dancing with tequila in the office, fact checked, real. Like, all of it was real.
You know what would have been even more epic?
What?
If like on the 20th anniversary, like you meet like little baby
Okay.
Clark Darden.
Okay. Clark Darden.
Yeah, little baby Clark Darden.
Oh, no, that would be terrible.
That would have been epic.
Nah, if they had slept together, we would have seen it.
I
We
mean,
would've
I'm
seen
sure,
it.
but maybe you know.
No. Don't even put that image in my mind. A little biracial.
Hey, we are just now meeting the love children of the 90s.
Okay. All
We
right.
met Bill Clinton's little half black baby. He's out there somewhere. Oprah's he looked like, he looked like, I feel like I'm on Maury. Look at that nose! Look at that nose! And then they always go up to the
Yes, but they always
screen.
go up
Look
to
at
it.
that nose! Look at his mouth! And the baby's like this.
Always.
Always. Look at his mouth. Maury, I am 300% sure.
That's when you know they lying. Anytime you go above 100, I'll be like, oh, she lying. 300 means she got 3 possibles.
Yeah, it's like 3 other
If I
people.
got 1,000%, you got 10 possibles.
I'm 1,000. It's like a multiple.
Yes.
I'm 1,000% sure that he is the father of my baby. But you only get to do that once. You can only do that on the first time.
Nah, they still do it when they come back.
Maury, I know that Davion is the father.
I'll be like, oh my God, Bone, Quisha.
But you know what I
no.
love? And this is not about Maury, but this is the last thing. What I love is when they name the child after the dude, and then the dude is not the baby. In the case of Davion Jr., Davion, you are not the father. And then he get up and do the motorcycle dance.
And I just,
he's really right.
Listen, because I blame it on name it and claim it. See, they be like, man, you know, if I just put it on this piece of paper, it will make it true.
Right. I'm going to write the vision and make it plain.
We had a comment in the studio that so many hoes believe that. Okay, just want to make sure y'all heard that out there. Okay. Let's see what else. Number seven. The jury that couldn't keep no jurors or their deputies.
I'm saying.
That's
y'all got them having continental breakfast. They've been there for 6 months.
Been there forever. They was doing anything to get out or was found lying, so they had to be kicked out.
Are you allowed to write a book after the case is over as a juror?
Can
you write a book?
I think so. People do, don't they?
Are you allowed to do
I think a few jurors did, didn't they?
Yeah, the three black women, they got together and wrote a book together.
Okay. Yeah, you can write a book.
Yeah, I'd have been writing it while I was in there.
They didn't. Did they have access to pens and pencils?
Probably not.
Remember, see, they didn't have no TV, no magazines, nothing.
One of the white men was found out that he had gotten a publicist inside.
Listen.
And so they took everybody's stuff away because he was literally writing the book throughout this trial. So they took everybody's pen and paper away.
I mean, I can't blame.
Listen, that was the part that helped me understand why the jury deliberation was only 4 hours.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Y'all have been here forever.
It's been exhausted, though.
You ain't seen your family. You ain't got access to know nothing.
They closed that door. Let's vote.
Right now. Now. I ain't seen such and such. I got
if you don't know what you murdered in after 6 months, where you been?
It was a year.
It was a year?
It was a year. Wasn't that joint a year?
It was a whole year?
Y'all like, I don't know.
We need y'all to be on Google right now.
Hey, man, that's what I'm doing.
What you doing over there? See, we done hired a new intern.
Engaged.
You about to get fired tonight.
You're not engaged.
You're taking all the pictures.
We on Snapchat.
Oh, we can't multitask. Oh my God. Number 8.
Number 8.
Well, you have a comment.
Oh yes.
Someone, a young lady by the name of Corey Phillips on Facebook said, "Why is Grown Ups on and not the show?" So,
is it 10 o'clock?
What?
It's 10:05.
I don't know
Corey, baby, it's FX, not Fox.
Okay.
Corey. Make sure you got the right.
Yeah, make sure they got the right station.
Get the clicker, Corey, and go for you on TBS. Corey, is you on TBS?
Why
Go
is
to
that?
Corey. Corey.
That's a classic.
Baby, go to FX. You on the wrong? No, go up one. It's FX. You on TBS, baby.
It ain't CW.
It ain't CW. You on TBS. They got to deal with the grown. That's why you watching Grown Ups.
Yeah, I'm like Grown Ups. What is that?
It's on she on Corey. Is she?
Oh shoot!
Make sure she's on the right channel, Corey.
Why are you doing
Is she on the right channel?
Okay, Lord Jesus. Number 8, the progression of Rob Kardashian from hero of OJ, to the most skeptical, sad.
100 to 0 real quick. Ooh-wee.
Listen, that whole progression, his trepidation, his sadness, him throwing up in the bathroom because he believes his friend did it, his checking the garment bag because he's scared there's going to be blood, and listen.
I didn't buy it.
You didn't buy it?
I didn't buy any of that. I think it was in an effort for the Kardashian family to distance themselves, to kind of vindicate their father and rewrite history, that he did not believe OJ so much as it went on, and he completely absolved himself of their friendship. I thought it was a bunch of BS. I thought it was pure BS.
Well, how much of that can you really do? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there is no Kardashian name without this case.
Yes.
He's a lawyer that nobody knows, and not to defame his memory, but he's a lawyer that nobody knows.
He wasn't even practicing when this happened.
So
he was literally OJ's handler.
Exactly. So this it's you are a non-entity without him and without this case. So to then 20 years later try to wash your hands of it is kind of ridiculous. So,
you Kardashian fans, please send all of your hate mail directly to @soul_minister.
Hey, listen, they doing what they can do, and they have far more money than me with little. Let me shut up.
Okay. You about to start preaching?
Yeah, no. I'm
good. Yeah. Number 9, the Furman.
Wait a minute, Corey, is you on the right channel now? She is.
In fact, on the right channel.
All right.
Was she on TBS?
Probably so.
Okay. Good.
That is funny than a mug.
I wanted
it.
As long as you
check
found
on
it.
You, Corey. It's all right, Corey.
That is so funny. Number 9, them Furman tapes. Listen, getting the tapes, like, I didn't realize that they had to go to court in the South to get them tapes. I didn't realize Judge Ito's wife was implicated.
Now, did they mention the fact that the tapes were recorded for a movie?
Yeah, it was for a book or a movie.
Like he was being interviewed?
Yeah, they mentioned that.
Okay.
I had no idea. That whole tapes thing was great. The whole just getting them playing it out and showing how it kind of made the trial go a little to the left for a minute.
Sure.
I thought that was a great part in the season.
Well, he's one of the most interesting pieces of this thing because you think about it, on the one hand, he's kind of an innocent bystander. He's just showing up, doing his job, and then he's, vilified because of things that happened before this case and not necessarily what he did on the case. So it's interesting just from a story standpoint of his place in all of this and then how things he said previously, things he did previously play into, the perception of what he did on the case. So
my favorite part, though, was when he was getting that cross-examination.
Ooh,
and he basically was like, so you ain't said the N-word? And he just like, no, I ain't never do that. And then all of a sudden, so have you ever manufactured? I plead the fifth. So I plead the fifth. Best part, I loved it. I love the dramatization of the entire thing. Fifth. You got a comment? You came over? No?
Yeah, you said, Brandon, what he did in the past. Were you speaking more about the fact that he was called to the Simpson estate multiple times for this, or are you just talking about his past and dealing with blacks and minorities? Because I thought that them really talking about in other documentaries and the O.J. Simpson trial was very fascinating that this same cop had come to that house multiple occasions.
Right.
So it really did make it seem that he could have had a vendetta because he was very upset that Nicole did not press charges.
Yes.
And here's this one time when there's another call, and I don't know, like that whole Furman just really, and I think that it made you go, I don't know, maybe they did do this to OJ. Maybe he did this to OJ. And so I don't know, man.
I mean, it's a gotcha on both sides.
Yeah, it is.
Because on the side of Johnny Cochran and the defense team, it's, and for many black people, this is payback for Rodney King.
That's right.
Right? On the side of the LAPD and Furman and the prosecution, it's a gotcha because, he's been beating her for years.
Right.
And has not had to deal with the consequences of that.
Yeah. All right, our last one, number 10. I love how they showed OJ's exile after the verdict came down. He came home. He thought he was going to pick up right where he left off.
Oh, but no.
Oh, but no. He had that party in the house. He was like, AC, who are all these people? He's like, where's such and such? Where's such and such?
AC had to put an ad in Variety to fill up. Wanted.
Wasn't nobody there.
Nobody.
I love how they showed that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people think about that. I don't think people think about, you might go through something and get off and not have to be punished, but you still got issues you got to deal with after the fact.
There's still consequences no matter how things turn out. Whether it's good for you or bad for you, there's still consequences for that. And I think that also may have helped him to understand, at least for a little while, that he was still black.
Yeah.
Because if you were a black man that went through a trial like that, or of any kind, or went to jail or anything like that, and came back to your neighborhood, things are different for you.
Yes.
It's hard to get a job. It's hard to get housing.
Right.
All these things are different. So you can't. There's only so much. I'm not black. I'm OJ. You can do when everybody is seeing you for really who you are.
Yeah.
And then adding insult to injury, losing the civil case. Yeah, so you know what I mean? And
Losing big.
Right, and then we see how it turned out later that he's in jail. Well, was in jail. Just got out, but,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked him up.
You picked him up?
Yep.
How was he?
Oh, he was good. He was good. I had a fifth of Hennessy, 2 white chicks, and a tightly wrapped blunt for the man.
So you were an enabler. Got it. Got it.
That's how he ended up back.
Right. How much time we got?
Wrap this up, baby.
All right, wrap this up. No time to show the look into. Let's show that look into.
Are we going to talk about it at all? No.
What?
About Versace?
Yeah, we are. We're going to show them a quick video. Look into the season 2.
Shortly before 9 a.m., fashion designer Gianni Versace was shot on the steps of his villa.
Pronounced Versace. Singer? That's Liberace.
He was a creator. He was a genius. Everything you see around us, this house, this company, it was his life. I will not allow that man, that nobody, to kill my brother twice.
So what brings you to Miami?
I know people.
Oh, yeah?
Versace.
Versace. You're creative, yes?
Of course.
I can be submissive.
You have no idea.
What do you do for work?
Listen up. What are your greatest attributes?
I'm smart. I'm clever.
I was thinking more along the lines of how big.
You can't do it, can you?
Can't what?
Stop lying.
Andrew Cunanan, 27 years old. He's killed 4 men.
This world has wasted me, and yet this world also made you, Mr. Versace. And you're a star. You're not better than me. We're the same. The only difference is that you got lucky.
The Assassination of Gianni Versace premieres Wednesday, January 17th on FX.
All right. What you thinking after watching that look into season 2?
I'm still craving Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
However,
all right.
I think that this will be an interesting story for a few reasons, because you're looking at, a high-profile death of someone in a time where we were just starting to talk about LGBT issues.
Right.
And so putting that murder against how the climate is now is going to be interesting, and looking at it from how people responded to it then. I think that'll be neat. I think casting-wise, they got it pretty good.
Yeah.
At least the look of it.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as good as the OJ season. That's how I feel at this moment. And probably because I would prefer to see a trial or something versus, non-trial. But I am interested in seeing the FBI F up an investigation, because that's really what this is about. You know, when the old dude, what's his face, Gianni Versace got shot, it just seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden this is a serial killer. Like, wait a minute, wait. So I am interested in seeing the blunders of the FBI, like how they messed up to where a man of this magnitude was killed.
And you also realize that this is not a case that is as covered as OJ.
Not at all.
For whatever reason, it's just not.
Right.
So, and you would think it would be, but to see some of the ins and outs of it, to understand why Cunanan wasn't caught previously, how he wove his tail to get into that world and all of that, I think will be interesting.
Yeah, I love stuff about serial killers and crime.
Yeah, I'm a big true crime guy. Love true crime.
I am interested in learning more about his serial killing shenanigans.
Serial killing shenanigans.
Yes.
Andrew, how did when you started the serial killing? What was you thinking? Was you thinking I just might kill 1 or 2 people and just see how it goes, and then I'm gonna keep killing, go down to Miami and be killing? Or what you thought? Did you plan it out? Did you write it down? How did it go?
He just seemed like he just lying all over the place, just lying and faking and putting on different characters and being different people. That should be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
and
see.
they got the right actor to do it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did.
Darren Criss is his name, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, from
that
Glee.
That is correct.
Yeah,
yes.
He's a good one.
That is correct. Everybody on Twitter, at least, following the hashtag, they're excited to see him play that character.
Cool.
All right, right, well, we're going to wrap it up because I know y'all trying to go watch the show. I want to go see the show. I got my fingers crossed. I hope it's entertaining because if it's not, it's going to be a long pregame show season for me. All right, with that.
Corey, make sure you're on the right channel. Corey?
Yes,
somebody check on Corey and make sure she's on the right channel. As
far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
Make sure it's on FX, y'all.
FX, not TBS.
FX, not anything else. FX, okay. All right?
And if your DirecTV's not working, call somebody so that it can work and you can watch the show.
Brent, you're always welcome.
Well, thanks.
You are.
It's good to be here.
I'm glad. Tell them where they can find you on the Instagram.
You can find me on the interwebs. On Instagram, it's @soul_minister. Facebook, Brent Barnett. And my website for my business is bsquaredesign.com.
All right, y'all. We're going to wrap it up tomorrow. We will be here at 7 p.m.-ish with me anchoring the Prime News, followed by True Baller Thursdays with @JCO doing all things NBA, followed by the Scandal pregame show called Wind Down Thursdays now, hosted by Starlet K. Mathis. Tomorrow's going to be jam-packed. Yeah, Scandal premieres tomorrow too, right? So tomorrow's going to be jam-packed. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow so that you get all the notifications that we are live. With that, I am Trezina, your host of American Crime Story, The Assassination of Gianni Versace pregame show. I'm going to find a new title by next week. All right. Bye, y'all. Bye.